forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
Happy Monday, April 13th. We are covering all things Single Life, 90 Day Single Life, Season 5, Episode 7. You're at TMW Online, The Melanated Way. I am Linda. That is Abby. And we're happy to have you guys here. Hey, Silver Linings. Hey, girl, hey. The Art of Meddling. Now, this episode really should just be called Sophie and Pedro, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, Uncle Marco did a little meddling too, so I get the title is appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. What were your overall thoughts on this?
My overall thoughts were misunderstandings abound, and I have so many mixed feelings on Kim. I can't wait to start talking about that.
All right. Let's jump into it. Sophie, Pedro, Julia.
Julia is such a good time.
She's such a good time. Comic relief, mediator, just good vibes all the way around. Like, she really is a girl's girl, and I appreciate that. Hey, Tina. Hey, Becca. It's Nicole's birthday, and Pedro has invited the girls, minus Liz, to Nicole's birthday party. And, you know, right as soon as he said that, I already knew that it was going to be a hot mess. It was going to be a hot mess because Nicole's a hot mess. Anything that takes away from attention to her is going to be problematic.
Mm-hmm.
So Julia and Sophie go, but Sophie's a little worried. You know, I'm happy to go and all of this, but I don't want any pressure, she tells Pedro. And Pedro's like, yeah, no worries. Don't worry. Meanwhile, Julia, because she's a girl's girl, lets Liz know that they're going to be gone for a couple of days because it's like a 2 or 3 hour drive away. And that's what you should do, right? Sophie was just going to be gone. And then you're looking for your friends, you know? Terrible. But Sophie's a little bit nervous to meet Pedro's mom and his sister, as she should be, because they are, like I keep saying, problematic. But Pedro's super happy that he is bringing his quote-unquote woman to Santo Domingo, and they're going to get ready for the party. They get to the party, and Pedro already knows. Do you know what I mean? He knows what we know. His mom and his sister are unhinged, and he says they're savage, and they are savage. And I still, like, I get being, like, protective of your family, but do you find, Abby, that they just go above and beyond?
Okay, so this might be a little bit mean, but I think that they're not very educated. And I feel like it's easy to have misunderstandings with people who are not educated and easily offended.
Okay, but isn't Lydia, she's an attorney.
What is that? I can tell you 5 attorneys right now who are uneducated. Like, I do not mean educated in the sense of you read some books and you took some tests. I mean educated in the sense of you have some awareness about yourself. For example, we're going to get into it, but how can you judge someone for dating while they're married, you know, technically still married, when you have children by a married man? That's what I mean by like, I should say they lack introspection and they're easily offended. That's what I should say.
That I agree with you 100% with that. Silver Lining says, Sophie has been so annoying this season and problematic. I was here for the Nicole and Lydia confrontation. So Pedro knows his mom and sister are savage, so he's on high alert. He wants to make sure that they don't scare Sophie away. And, you know, he says his sister is crazy.
Can I just really quick, can I just object to the use of savage here? That's not what savage means. And I understand the miscommunication or the misunderstanding, but savage literally means someone who is like a boss, like they've taken charge, like they are self-reliant. It doesn't mean someone who's rude and condescending.
I'm gonna let that one go. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna let that one go. All I know is that I think that I'm sick and tired of Nicole and Lydia running amok. I'm just tired of it. And whether it is ignorance, whether it is jealousy, whether it is stupidity, like I don't know what it is, but what I do know is that they don't travel. I do know that they rely on Pedro and his quote unquote worldliness to survive. Yet any other woman that comes into his life, they're just problematic. And I just think that it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I think in this episode, I was disgusted by both of them. But Lydia, you're a mother, and the way you're talking to this woman was outrageous to me. So the first thing that Nicole does when Sophie arrives is like, oh, you're the one. Yeah, I heard all about you. You're the woman that's making my brother. She says suffering, right? But suffer. You're the one that's making my brother suffer. And I was like, see, first impressions are everything, and how you greet someone and your aura and your vibe will set the tone. And for me personally, Abby, you set the tone. I'm gonna match your tone, and you might get over it, but I'm gonna stay there. Do you know what I mean? Like when people say, you go high or whatever it is, and they go low, you go high, and then the new thing, because we're living in crazy times, is they go low, you take it to hell. That's what I'm taking it all the way there, and I'm gonna stay there because you brought that energy unnecessarily. You met her for 30 seconds and you're doing all of this. So Nicole, in my opinion, is unhinged. And then the mom and Nicole are surprised that Sophie speaks, a bit of Spanish. And so was speaking Spanish to his mom. And she's like, yeah, amiga, no pressure. And Lydia is impressed by that, right? But she should also be on high alert, because all that shit talking you do in Spanish, she's going to be able to understand you. But no, that's not what happens. Instead, Lydia says to Cameron that, so basically like Sophie's no big deal. She's just like a regular, normal person. Pedro has a type, and then goes to like criticize, but not criticize Sophie's appearance. And Abby and I talked about this yesterday. I don't know why women, well, I do know why. Some of you women are just, you're insecure, and your insecurity comes out as hatred against other females. And I want you to stop it, because you think that you're being all slick Rick, but it looks disgusting on you. And I wish you could play it back. Because when she was doing that, like, oh, she's nothing. She's just common. And then I'm looking at you, look at this beautiful girl. And I can tell that it's jealousy and insecurity, because for whatever reason, you don't feel like you look as good as her or whatever it is. And I just want you all to just be comfortable in your own skin. Do you know what I mean? God made you a certain way. Love on it. If you feel like you need to enhance it, feel free. It's your body, your choice. But what you need to stop doing is hating on other women, because it literally is exhausting to me. And it's also disgusting for me to see it. What do you think, Abby?
I mean, same thing. It doesn't make your life any better. You're just miserable. So, try something different. Try something new. If you're out there and every time you see a woman who looks like they have on too much makeup or the wrong color makeup or their clothes are too tight, like instead of saying that, say, wow, what confidence. How amazing. Glad she's out here doing her own thing, living her own life. Try something different.
Or how about just keep walking and mind your own fucking business? Like, how
Or
about that?
that. Or that.
I don't care if you think my clothes are too tight. I don't care if you whatever. Makeup to makeupy, lipsticks to lipsticky, lips are still pop, whatever. I don't give a shit. And I'm saying all these words because I don't think you should either. It's none of your business. And why are you judging? Why are you judging? Like, someone needs to explain to me why is it so important for you all to comment and tear down other women. But if it was a man doing it, you would be equally offended. Make it make sense. Either you're a girl's girl or you're not a girl's girl. And if you're not a girl's girl, then just fucking keep it pushing. Bye.
Yeah.
So Lydia is like having a back and forth tete-a-tete with Sophie, and then gets into this whole weird after she's like talking about Sophie's body type, a whole like Spanish plantain, egg, and salami situation. And basically that is her interpretation of Pedro and Sophie not being intimate yet. And maybe she's not so much interested in Pedro because she hasn't, quote unquote, tasted Pedro yet. Listen, you guys, ew. I mean, Abby, you're a parent. Would you talk like that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I mean, first of all, it's degrading and humiliating. And then secondly, it's not even a good joke. Like I want some comedy that is of a level that I can appreciate it. Like that's not even a good joke.
But also, isn't it just inappropriate to talk
Extremely.
like that to your child's potential partner? It's weird. I think it's weird. Becca says, I really love the commentary between y'all about the woman on woman hate and being actual girls. Yes, Becca, yes. So Lydia does this whole weird thing. Now she's made it awkward. And, you know, between Lydia and Nicole, they've both made it awkward, right? Because Nicole confronted Sophie from the jump. And then Lydia is now talking sexual things and commenting on Sophie's body in the first 2 minutes. And again, those are haters. And I want you guys to take it back to Chantel days where they did the same thing. I mean, Nicole was so insecure that every time we would see Chantel make a change in her image, Nicole would mimic that same change. And so now here we are with Sophie, another beautiful girl. She's feeling insecure. And for whatever reason, it's again taking it out on the potential partner of Pedro. And I think Pedro needs to man up. Like, man up. I get that you were raised with your father in the picture, and I get that there might be some daddy issues going on there, but let's man up. And instead of just sexualizing women and letting your mom and your sister rule what you think is appropriate, stand up on your own 2 male feet and be better and do better. Because you say, like Abby says, that you say they're savage, but if you know they're savage and they're problematic and you have to be on high alert, then be on high alert. Because what does high alert look like to you? High alert looks like you just looking at them and laughing and giggling that your mom and sister are running amok. I don't think that's I think it's disgusting, to be honest. So Pedro's mom is crazy, I said, and disrespecting Sophie so much. And Sophie feels the same way, and she just really can't take it. So she needs a minute to walk away with Pedro. And she just thinks it's weird. She thinks it's weird that the mom in the first 2 minutes is bringing up sex with Pedro. And she thinks Nicole's being weird because Nicole is like, you're doing this to my brother. Woo, woo, woo. And then, so she takes a minute and then comes back and is having a conversation with Lydia again and explaining her situation, right? Like, yes, I'm still married, but I'm legally separated and we're going through the divorce process. And then Lydia gets all her high horse and talks about how she shouldn't be dating and that's not right because she's still married. Uh, uh, Listen, I'm not about to do one of my TED Talks, but I will say you guys need to go back into the old school family Chantel, even go back to 90 Day Fiance, the original, when we were introduced to Pedro and Lydia, and how Lydia was the mistress. Lydia's the side chick. Lydia was never actually even married to Pedro's dad because he was already married with his own family. She was the second. She was the mistress side chick that he didn't give an F about. She had one, not just Pedro. She decided to have two babies with her baby daddy and never, what is it? Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Okay. And you're going to turn around to the girl that was actually a bride and got married, and unfortunately her marriage didn't work out. You're gonna go and judge her when you never were a bride. You were always the side chick, side piece, side hustle. Your whole life you've been the side hustle. You're even hustling your husband. Your son. You hustled your son when he was a husband because you wanted him to finance your life. You wanted him to get you to America. You wanted him to buy you a house. Like, I can go on because I really could go on. I just find it outrageous that you're the biggest side chick failure and you want to talk shit about Sophie. Have you your mind? What do you
Oh,
want
look, Silver Linings reminded me of a fact that I forgot about. She put her kids, Lydia, she put her kids in that side room so that he could come after dark.
That part. There's so much more. You put your kids in the side room so your baby daddy could come in, F you, and leave. And he did leave. Meanwhile, you're back in the room because you live in a 1-bedroom apartment and you ain't got enough. Like, stop playing. Stop playing. And you want to have the audacity to talk crazy to Sophie about dating while she's separated? Ugh.
Right.
Ugh. Gross. And Tina says, and people thought it was the Chantel family. Seems Pedro family is the problem. Facts.
So this is my blame chart. Can you see my pie?
Oh, I love it.
My blame chart. 50% of the blame, I'm giving that to Pedro because you know how your family acts, and we don't see you having any kind of pre-conversation with them or intervention with the things they're saying. You're laughing at what your mom said. Maybe you're nervous in the moment, but Sophie's not laughing about it. So 50% blame him. 25% Sophie. Sophie, when you have the ability to research something before you go into it, you should do that. If you have a job interview coming up and you know who's interviewing you, you research those people. You go on LinkedIn, you look them up. There's so much research out there available on Lydia and Nicole, and you prepared yourself zero coming into the situation. So 25% blame to you. 25% Lydia and Nicole. Now, some of you will think that they deserve more of the blame for this because they're shit stirrers, but when you're dealing with children, people who act like children, you have to keep your expectations in an appropriate perspective, okay? So we cannot expect them to act like mature adults after they've given us a lot of evidence to show that they are not mature adults. So I'm only giving them 25% instead of, some of you might think maybe they get 40 and Sophie gets 10. No.
I love the pie chart. I agree 50%. I would do what you just said no to. So I would give 50% to Pedro, 40% to Lydia and Nicole, and 10% to Sophie, because Sophie didn't know what she was walking into. However, for the season, I'm giving Sophie 50% problematic because she's problematic in this season, and she needs to go and own her own shit, and that's not. The live chat is popping. I can't even keep up with it, but you guys keep it going. I love the comments in there. So Pedro's family is really just trying to sabotage his relationships any and every chance that they get. And Nicole then approaches Sophie and basically says, you know, Pedro's in love with you, and one day you're cold with him, one day you're hot, and you need to try not to do this back and forth with him, and goes on. And then a fight ensues because, as it should, Sophie's like, well, why are you so involved in your brother's relationship? Like, it's none of your business. And you and your mom, like, basically, don't you guys have your own lives? Which is my question too. Do you, both of you, what do they say? What do they call, like, so I know the mom dated that loser 2x4 that I'm so glad is out of the 90-day universe. I can't even remember his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Is it Scott? No.
Yes, I think his name was Scott.
Whatever he was, but he was like super.
He had very weird proclivities.
Oh, listen, you guys. I remember he messaged us at the Melanated Way, and it was unhinged. And then I blocked him, and then he just friggin' lost his mind. Oh, anyways, he's unhinged, and every 90-dayer female that I know said the same thing, had a very similar experience with him. And then you remember he went on this weird 90-day tour. It was like, oof. Yeah, the one that, oh yes, he looked like he was from Whoville. Yeah, what's his name? Scott, Tina? What's his name? Scott? But yeah, Whoville. That's. Becca says, I'm not even watching the spinners. I just come for the chat. Your jokes are on point. So anyways, they're fighting back and forth. I think that Nicole is the problem. I think that Nicole, that's what I was saying. So Nicole, you didn't keep your man either, right? With all the problems that you were creating, you didn't keep your man either. And we already know that Lydia can't keep a man. So two non-men keeping women are then now separating and judging a woman that is like, let me, and your husband, I keep saying husband because that's how you're acting. You're acting like Pedro is your husband. That's why I keep saying that. Because in my mind, I'm like, you know how some mothers, especially in single parent households, the boy becomes the man of the house,
right?
And not in like a weird sexual way, but the single mom uses her son as the male figure and then becomes like way too entwined in his life because her life is wrapped up in him. So whatever he does is her life because she doesn't have any other male influence in her life. I hope I'm making sense, but I see it all the time where the mom wants to always stay number one in the guy's life because she ain't got no other man in her life. And then when her son meets someone that he really wants to be with, she's the problem. And she continues to be a problem and causes havoc. And then the son is stuck in the middle because, of course, you love your mom. You're going to always choose your mom. But then you're going to choose your wife or your partner as well because that's your wife or your partner. And especially if she's your baby mama as well and you're married to her and she's the mother of your children. And so it can become messy. So that's what I see in Lydia. I see that she never was successful in relationships and she looks at as her son as that male figure that she's missing. And unfortunately, Scott. Tina. So good. So that's the problem. So Sophie's like, why are you guys so involved in Pedro's life? It doesn't make sense. A fight ensues. And Sophie's like, you and your family, meaning Nicole, Pedro, and Lydia are weird. She's like, you and your family are weird. And I agree with that. They're 100% weird. They're the problem.
This conversation with Nicole, I think Sophie could have handled it better. She didn't have to. She's already been offended at this point. So I'm fine with how she handled it. But if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, I think that she could have handled it a little bit more civil and just said, you know what, you're right, we had a misunderstanding, but hopefully he will update you on how good things are going now. The end.
Yeah, but I mean, you just finished telling us how they're immature children. So how could you have a mature conversation like that with these two knickknacks?
At that point, you've said what you said, and then you just let Nicole talk. That's what you do. Because there's the thing, have you ever heard the phrase, if you get seen arguing with a fool, nobody will know which one of you is the fool?
I haven't, but I love it, and I'm going to add it to the repertoire.
And that's what happened here. When they start getting loud with each other, somebody looking in doesn't know which one of them is the stupid. So
I'm surprised you didn't catch on to what I just said. That's
wait, what did you just say?
I said I'm going to add it to my repertoire, and you all know how terrible I am with things. So good luck with that.
I can't wait to hear how it comes back out.
What it's going to sound like.
Yeah, so that's what happened. They end up arguing, and from the outside in, both of them just look foolish. So, if you're interested in not arguing sometimes, like for my blood pressure, I can't argue every single time somebody wants me to rise to the occasion anymore. I'm just getting old, and cholesterol's beating my ass. So sometimes I just got to be like, hey,
calm down. You're still in your 40s, so I think you should calm down, but okay. Silver Lining says Pedro gets 60% of the blame. He didn't set boundaries, facts, with his family, facts, and all caps, he stirred them up by oversharing his side of their story. Facts.
I'm willing to modify the pie. Modifying the pie. Giving Pedro 60. And I'm taking Sophie down to 20. And taking Lydia and Nicole up to 40. Wait, no, that is 120. That is not 100.
I didn't want to say anything, but I mean, yeah, I didn't want to say anything. Silver Lining also says she drives by an orthodontist office every day called E. Scott, and she giggles every day.
Scott. Scott. Yeah, I had the funniest interaction in court one time because my interpreter that we were using in court also had a Dominican accent, but she was speaking English, and the judge kept on asking what street they were on, and she kept saying a street, and he kept saying a street, and she's like a street. And sometimes you can't correct judges. You just have to let the thing that's happening happen. And it was one of those judges that you can't correct or try to help them. So we just had to sit there and listen to him go, what? A street? What? A street? What? A street?
That's hilarious. Becca and Silver Linings are okay with your 120% pie. Becca says that's fair. They probably stole some of Pedro's pie when he wasn't looking. And Silver Lining says, I'm down with 120 based on this scenario. Do you want to ask? Because that's all I have for these fools.
No, we covered everything that I had written down in my notes. I'm glad that we both recognize that Pedro's the problem. I'm glad that the chat recognizes that Pedro's the problem, because guys get off so easy sometimes in these situations. So girls, we are smart, okay? We are emotionally intelligent, okay? Don't be out there arguing with fools and let somebody doubt your intelligence.
Listen, can we just have a sidebar? You like how I use that? Can we have a sidebar, Abby? The sidebar is women, we just have to continue to support each other, because in these 2026 streets, these men are running amok. And I don't know if it's because of the temperature in the air, and like I want to say a bunch of stuff, but I don't want to get all political because I really don't care. But I just know that men are menning right now. In the last week, one man took his wife, who is experienced, they're both experienced boaters, and tried to insult women's intelligence and say that she fell off the boat and she had the keys of the boat. So he, instead of going after her, he paddled for 4 hours back to shore, and now she's dead. Now, I just found out there's a famous influencer, beautiful Black girl based out of Miami. She is on a birthday trip in, I think, Tanzania. I think she is Tanzania, with her boyfriend, who then proposed to her on this birthday trip. He wants to wake up and tell us, the females of the world, that she unalived herself by hanging herself from a tree, even though they allegedly had a terrible argument and the hotel that they were staying at had to separate them and put them in separate rooms. She was found unalive, not in her hotel room, but in like the forest. And you guys want us to believe that these two things have nothing to do with men and their shitty behavior?
Crazy.
This alpine divorce stuff. Listen, men, if you don't want to be with this woman, just walk away. But we're not responsible for your shitty, no confidence, big ego, little, like, we're not responsible for that. I'm sorry. And I'm not sorry. Like, get it together. Walk away. Just walk away. She shattered your ego. Oh, wow. Get a better and better and better ego. Go and flaunt it with someone else who can like stroke your ego. But don't punish the woman and then end her life because you are a friggin' incel. I'm so sick of the nonsense. 2 in a week? No. All right. Let's talk over.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to Kimberly and Jamal. Overall thoughts on their segment. Jamal is really mature today.
Yeah, I think that he's handling this very well. You know, I personally do not think I would have had the maturity required at his age to handle these revelations and navigate these relationships the way that he is.
I mean,
because he's 26, right?
26, 27. He had a birthday. Happy birthday, Jamal. Your birthday was like a couple of days ago. Happy birthday. I think he's like 27 now, 28.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it. And I really applaud them for trudging their way through it in real time, in public.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And yeah, I feel like Jamal has really shown that he's matured a lot going through this. But so it's Kimberly, Jamal, and her, how do I say this? Adopted out son? That sounds better. Adopted out son. How do you say it, Abby?
I've never heard it phrased any way other than biological son.
But they're both her biological sons.
That's true. I do not know how you would phrase this. Let's say adopted out until somebody tells us a better word.
I'm going with that because that makes sense to me. But if there's a politically correct terminology, or if you're in that, I don't know, is it adopted? I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm going to say
I don't know.
I'm going to say adopted out, and if someone knows different, then you guys educate me, educate us.
Yeah, us. I don't know either.
Kimberly, Jamal, Larry, Nellie, Brittany, it's a bunch of people all coming together. Kimberly's nervous to meet with her adopted out child, Larry, because they've been communicating, and she does video chats with her grandbaby, all the things. I'm really not sure yet, like, how close they are yet, but it seems like they're, progressing forward in order to reunite. Not
Mm-hmm.
even unite, because they were
Mm-hmm.
not united before. So unite
Right.
and become closer. So she's anxious and she feels like she's going to have a panic attack when, Larry and his family comes to meet them. They're going to have a picnic on the beach or the park or whatever it is. Um, she's nervous because she still needs to tell Larry that he also has a sister. And it's not just Larry and Jamal, it's Larry. It's the sister. No, it's Larry, sister, Jamal, in that order.
Mm-hmm.
Larry was the eldest, the sister, Jamal. And quite interestingly, which I think is really crazy, is they're all the same dad.
Mm-hmm.
So she just kept, you guys, I don't want to go down this. Okay. I just won't. I'm just saying they're all the same dad. And I guess one of my questions would be like, why did you keep having babies and just not use like some type of protection? I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
No. I know what you're saying. I think that we can go into it all. Birth child. But my child is also my birth child.
Yeah, that's what I just said. That doesn't make sense to me because they're all her birth children.
Adopted child. Adoptee child. I don't know. Let's just call him Larry. Everybody knows who Larry is, right?
Adoptee child? Okay. Adoptee
It
child?
doesn't roll off the tongue really nicely, does it?
Adopted out sounds much better. They were adopted out, and that's what happened. So yeah, I guess my question to you, Abby, is what are your thoughts on that? Like, you continue, if you know you're in a terrible relationship, and I know, and I get the process, and I get how it takes time, if ever, that women leave their terrible situations. I understand it. I know the process. I know the mental anguish that comes with all of it. However, adding children into the mix and knowing that maybe that's the one thing that you can control, right? Even if that doesn't mean like you're using a blatant birth control, but there are other things that you could use, right? Why do you continue to go through that whole, I don't know. What would you guys do?
It's very confusing for me because at the time she was in the military, and I know that one of the things that the military does provide is birth control to their members. Perhaps she has some allergies we don't know about it that made it impossible for her to use hormonal birth control. Or maybe she had some really bad side effects. Maybe he wouldn't allow her to go to medical appointments. Maybe part of the abuse that she was dealing with was control. Maybe there were some side effects that he didn't care for. Like I know when I was on Depo, I was big and round, like I'm just assuming that it had something to do with the nature of her being in a not safe relationship. Because it doesn't have to be an abusive relationship completely for it to be an unsafe relationship. That she was unable to have some methods of prevention.
The live chat is agreeing with you. Silver Lining saying it was likely psychological or emotionally abusive relationship. She was very young, and he may have had control and influence, like you said. And then
oh, there are some people who do that. So the last thing that Silver Lining said, he may have thought if she's on birth control, that means that she's cheating on me. We talked about that a while back when Asuelu and Kalani got pregnant the second time.
Yeah.
And Asuelo was very against using birth control because in his mind, using birth control meant that you're not being faithful to your partner. There are a subset of people who think that, and it's not just like one culture, it's like interculture too, especially some purity cultures even believe that. Like they will not talk about birth control because the act is between a husband and wife, and between a husband and wife, there should be no birth control.
Yep. Agreed. Becca says, but also I wonder if she thought being pregnant would protect her from potential abuse. So the live chat, we're all on the same page. She did it for a reason, and for whatever reason it was, control, 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 control men. So that being said, she has to
Larry, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Larry didn't ask the question that I thought he was going to ask, which was, after he made the connection that he was the older child and she gave away the next child, I thought the next logical question was going to be, why did you keep Jamal then?
Yeah, but he's not going to do that while Jamal's right in his face and he's trying to establish a relationship with him. That's a conversation you have separately and aside and apart from everyone. Don't you think?
Maybe. I don't know how these conversations go. I've never had to be part of one. Thank Bob. Like, but he did ask, like, what was the situation that you gave up a child after me? So I just thought, look, he's about to ask, well, how did it change and you kept Jamal? Like, you how did you end up getting back together with my dad? And also, I would assume that this question's already been asked, but it would have been nice to understand where he is right now. Why isn't she's having all this anxiety and shame, and he gets to get off scot-free again?
Where is the dad, by the way? Like, are we not going to have that question? Like, is he still alive? Does he have other babies? Do I have siblings out there? Like, I would be asking all the questions, but at the appropriate time. And I feel like this is just opening the Pandora's box because there's so many other factors in it, right? So Kimberly has to tell Larry, or is about to tell Larry, about this sister. She has no information on the sister because it was a closed adoption. So she doesn't know the name, doesn't know what area that she's living in, doesn't know anything about anything. And Jamal, talks to Larry and says, I was torn between getting close to you and developing our new relationship and keeping this secret. That's why I just like stood back. But I knew that, our mom had to tell you. So they're all sitting down, and I this is where I keep saying, like, it's Pandora's box, because so it's Kimberly and Jamal, but it's Larry and his wife. We were introduced to one kid, but he actually has two kids, Nellie and a baby, right? So now there's four of them. There's two of them. So that's six, plus the daughter, that's seven. We don't know if the daughter has kids, whatever. So that's going to extend out. Then the dad, we don't know what's up with the dad, who, what, where, why, when, but if he had any type of anything before this ended, because this ended a long time ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
There perhaps are half siblings. Those like this family tree could branch out. Like, there's so much, and no one's asking those questions. And those are the questions I would ask, because how do you know? I saw something that traumatized me on Instagram, you guys, that this woman started dating this guy, and it was like a May-December romance. And after years together, they had a kid. They're still together. She finds out I don't know how many years it was, years, like let's say 10 years into your relationship, she finds out that the kid that she gave up for adoption is her common law husband that she just, she has a toddler with.
Oh. Ugh.
Say like tentacles everywhere. When anyways, that poor got like it was a mess. Anyways, so there are questions. There are questions, and answers need to be given. That's what I think before anything else. What do you think, Abby? Before I continue on,
I think that if you like donate eggs or you donate sperm or you give kids up for adoption, I think you have to be careful because familial attraction exists. So you can find yourself attracted to someone, and if you don't know that they're your family, things like what Linda just described can happen.
mm-hmm.
So you just have to be careful about that.
Mm-hmm. So Larry always knew he was adopted. And then this is the other question I have. So the only reason that he came into this whole situation is he took a DNA test. He found a first cousin. So let's talk about that. Who's the first cousin? From where? What side of, from where? Is it like from where? I know how cousins work. So Kimberly's sibling, the dad's sibling, from where? Someone
Mhm.
tell us. You already involved us, so let's know. But
Right.
the only reason he got to this is that he took a DNA test, you guys, and then found first cousin. That first cousin knew about Kimberly, and that's how he found Kimberly. I wonder, had he not done the DNA test and just said, hey, I know I'm adopted, and he was okay with that, would this ever have come to fruition, or would she have not ever said anything? Don't know.
It looks like she was not doing anything to find them, but she did say it was a closed adoption. So usually in a closed adoption, unless the adopted out child seeks out information on the bio mother, then there will be no connection made because the bio mother is not allowed to go back and ask for information about where the child is. I mean, they could ask, but they generally wouldn't be given any information. So it looks like if Larry didn't initiate it, then there wouldn't have been any connection. Isn't it crazy the way that DNA testing being made available to the general public has shifted and changed the way that families are interacting now?
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Because you can even now, like when I went to Vietnam, you can choose to leave your DNA at a police station. And if they find any matches to you, that's how many GIs had children in Vietnam when the United States was intervening over there. So I, as an American, can just choose to go to the police station and leave my DNA there, and they can see if it matches anyone else in Vietnam who was fathered by my father, for example. That's how prevalent that was.
I mean, listen, yeah. I'm always fascinated. That's because I like to hear African American stories because like my story is so different, right? So learning that those tools are available to Black Americans is really, I just think it's great because you and I've talked about this, just like knowing your lineage and where you're from and all the things, and wherever you think you're from, that's where you're from. But me knowing directly, because like first generation, it's such a different experience than many people that I know in America. And so having those conversations and knowing that like DNA has really changed a lot of people's lives, it's fascinating. Plus I love DNA because I love true crime, and just like the two stories I told you earlier, the DNA is going to put both of those men in prison, and they will be a Dateline episode, I promise you.
Okay, I hope so.
Oh, they will. I mean, do you guys remember the guy that took his wife on safari in Zanzibar and then tried to say that she unalived herself with a rifle? God, man. Okay. So she says, I have another daughter. She's her sister. Please don't hate me. I feel like a liar, she says, in this situation. And he's like, no, I don't think that you're a liar. But like, how did this all come together? And then Kimberly explains that her and the birth dad got back together, but then every time she got pregnant, she was doing it by herself. Again, I have questions. The daughter, the unknown daughter, is a year before Larry. No, excuse me. Sorry, I said the right. Larry, then a year later, the unborn daughter, and then Jamal, in that order. Larry, daughter, Jamal. But she doesn't know where the daughter is. She's trying to like heal through this whole thing. And she is trying to continue to, she says that doing all this and going through all of this, she realizes that she really loves Larry, and also realizes that she's not his mom because he has a mom that raised him. But she wants to be someone in his life. And she's feeling free from her secrets. And now, because she's so empowering to her, she wants to find her daughter as well. What's your input on this?
I thought that the way that she's explaining her feelings to us was so enlightening. And it matches her language too. So you notice in the last episode that we saw her in, she described Larry and his kids. And now that she has unburdened herself of these secrets, now she says, and I want to get to know my grandchildren. So her language even is reflecting that she now feels like she can have a maternal link to Larry. He reached out to her. She's now been honest with him. Yeah. And now she feels like there can be some kind of potential relationship building between them. I have the feeling that the daughter doesn't want a relationship with her. I feel like at their age, if the daughter wanted a relationship, she would have already sought her out. Or, you know, we're true crime watchers. We know the way the world works. Perhaps she's no longer here with us.
I think the first part, I think because, you know, not sorry, but, you know, 90-day verse, the messier they can be, the messier they will be. And I think that if they could have included 2 surprises to us, they would have. But you never know. They might be keeping this for part 2 because there's more to the story. I mean, from the previews I'm seeing, Kimberly is adding some British guy into the mix. So who knows what's going to happen. Maybe her daughter's out there in England. I don't know. We'll see. Moving on to Gino and Natalie. And you know, you guys, it just... All right. Overall thoughts, Abby, while I gather my thoughts on Gino and Natalie's segment.
You know, if Natalie wants to do this, that's her business. She can do this. That's fine. I would like for her just to, you know, make a little video and tell us why. Help us understand, Natalie.
That part, because, you know, you guys, I still don't believe it. And Abby, you're the one that actually like made me like chill out a bit, because I was like, this has to be for TV. Like, I don't understand. You're like, no, she seems to really like him. What are we liking about this guy? What is it? What is it?
Yeah, just tell us what it is. And I do think she must really like him, because I think if Natalie wanted to be on TV, she could find a way to be on TV. I don't think it's that difficult for someone like her to link up with someone in the 90-day world and date someone who maybe looks a little bit better, you know, maybe has a little bit better personality.
And it's not just his stupid hat that he never takes off that you wear to bed. That it's just like it's so played out. It's not even that. Not even just his looks. His whole personality and like the energy that he gives, and like how he's not real with his own life. And no, just no, absolutely no. So Natalie's in Michigan. I don't know why. But she is. And Gino says he realized that he made a mistake with Natalie. And he doesn't want to be talking to a bunch of other women. He just wants to focus on Natalie because he feels like Natalie might be the one. So he invited her to Michigan and she accepted, which I just flabbergasted. Just flabbergasted. Because not only am I flabbergasted that she accepted, I'm flabbergasted that she then said that she thought that she overreacted when he came to visit her in DC, because now she realizes that they were not in a committed relationship, so she can't be mad at Gino.
But the issue was never that you were not in a committed relationship. The issue was that he was unable to be honest about whether or not he was talking to other people. So, Natalie, I need you to keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the issue. But whatever, do whatever you want.
I mean, do whatever you want, but I just don't understand it. I don't see it. I don't understand it. And like Abby said, let's not mince the issues because those are completely two separate things. You never said you were in a committed relationship. You said you didn't believe him. He was a liar. And he put you in a situation where he lied to your face and then had his then wife come and try to beat you up. So like, let's not dance around you're not in a committed relationship. Like, let's not. Because even when you invited him over to DC, you invited him as a friend, not as a potential. So like, again, we watched the show. So you can't, like, we watched the show and we have memories and we're women. So they're strong, our memories. Like, so just don't play in our faces. Natalie, if you could do a quick 30-minute, not 30-minute. I feel like it will take you 30 minutes to explain. A 30-second, just like, hey, I like him because XYZ. That's all we want to know. What is it that you like about him? What joy is he bringing to your life?
Mm-hmm.
What green flags are you seeing that we aren't seeing? Because he tried to make Jasmine the problem when the common denominator is Gino and his hat. But okay. So Gino feels like he's decided that he wants to be exclusive, specifically with Natalie, because he doesn't want to risk losing her. And, you know, she is still skeptical, she says. She is skeptical of his actions and, you know, or excuse me, his words. Actions speak louder than words. But I want to tell you something. Okay. Abby.
Mm-hmm.
When someone wants to be with you, they want to be with you. And they're not going to need to be convinced to be with you. And when I say that, I say, like, when he's like, well, I don't want to risk losing her. So he went back. Here's what really happened, because I grew up with brothers. Listen, y'all, listen. I think maybe that's why I'm so like, but so like black and white. But when he's saying that he doesn't want to risk losing you, here's what happened. Gino went to Michigan. He went back to Michigan, right? Reached out to all the same roster that he had. And he probably wasn't getting the same response time that he normally was getting. So he thought he was losing control of the roster. Now, the roster has not made it in real life yet. It's just the continual DMing and texting and calling till someone bites, right? And they just go through that whole friggin' good morning, good morning, good morning text I promise you it's copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste to everyone that's in the roster. Not getting the responses like he used to. He's like, ooh, I'm going to be alone. Let me circle back. Because that's what they do. They circle back. Let me circle back and see which of my circle backs is going to respond. So he quickly circled back to Natalie. I promise you that's not the only person that he circled back to in real life.
Mhm.
She accepted the free trip to Michigan, even against her better judgment, because her gut was like, nah, fool. Fool me once, shame on me. No, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And now we're in the third. Shame, because it's about to be a shame. I already know it, because he hasn't done any of the inner work that he needs to do to make himself a better person. So that's where we are. So this whole I don't want to lose her, it's not because he was with her and realized I made a mistake. He was like, oh, my roster's low.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so they go to meet with Uncle Marco, and Uncle Marco is a trip. Like, I don't know what was going on here. I was like, did I miss a part? So they are in Michigan. I actually didn't know Michigan was known for hot dogs. I didn't know that. I learned that.
I've never heard that, but I also don't know a whole lot about Michigan except it's racist.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it. I don't know anything about it actually either. But apparently hot dogs are a thing there. And so they meet Uncle Marco at a hot dog spot. And Uncle Marco gets like right into it. So he wants to know, are they going to have babies, all this stuff? And she's like, whoa, we haven't even been intimate yet. This is like next level, talking about babies. Plus, like, I'm at a certain age, so like, I don't know. But Gino's like, he's always wanted to have a kid, and there are other ways that they can have kids. And it's like, Gino has the audacity to talk about being a dad when he can't even take care of himself. Who are you going to be mentoring? Not a baby that didn't ask you to bring them into your nonsense. Like, absolutely not. And so Uncle Marco really likes Natalie, apparently says that he sees Gino and Natalie smiling at each other like he hadn't seen between Jasmine and Gino, which I thought was super shade. Gino goes to the bathroom and Nellie starts asking about, whether Uncle Marco thinks that Gino's capable of monogamy and faithfulness and all of that. And again, like, I don't know about you ladies, but who are you all dating that he feels like he has so many options not be monogamous? Like, I guess I don't understand. Like, I just don't understand it. And female sisters, friends, allies, I'm just trying to understand. I'm a grown woman, and maybe I might be very particular, but I know when someone is not a catch. Like, I just know it. And I'm not saying, like, not even my type, just not a catch. So I'm trying to figure out where these non-catch throw back into the ocean fisherman, low IQ, low earning, low everything, low libido, low. Like, I could go on. How are they having so many options where they think that they don't have to be monogamous and faithful? Is it because there are so many women compared to men out there, like numbers wise, that there are certain women that would rather be with a low performing man than to say that they're single? Because that's the only thing I could think of. Because I don't understand how is Gino the catch in this situation? Can someone please explain it to me? Because that's my question. like, and Kim,
Colty, Ed.
Ed, what is it? Rick. Gosh, I can't stand that fool. Rick, E. Scott. I can like almost all of them. Jeffrey. Who else? I don't know. There's a lot of them, but I just what you guys? What? Anyways, you guys let us know. Place. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Abby, do you want to add anything? Because I'm spitting out on why we're asking if Gino can be faithful. Like what?
Yeah, I'm just gonna disagree with Uncle Marco's answer. He said if he finds the right girl, he could be faithful. You guys, whether or not somebody wants to be faithful is their choice. Okay? That's their choice, their character. It is not on you to be a certain kind of person to keep that person faithful. It is not a reflection of you if your spouse or partner cheats on you. It's what they did. And they chose not to consider you in their actions, and that's on them. That's 100% on them.
That part. All right, you guys, we will be back soon. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Gino as the prize. Give me a